back. What I thought I'd go through with you today is a follow-up from the last video on creating assignments in My Big Campus through the Schoolwork tab. What I wanted to go through with you is a couple things. Number one, how to grade those assignments once they're submitted from the students, and then ultimately what you can use the Schoolwork tab for in terms of analytics of those assignments as they come in. There are some things that you can see on My Big Campus in terms of percentages of how students did on individual questions, and then obviously on the assignment as a whole. So I'm going to start off by kind of showing you here. This is, again, the Schoolwork dashboard that you see up here on the screen right now. What I'm going to do is kind of take you through two different assignments. One where the students had to create a file of some type, whether it's a Word document, PowerPoint, Prezi, whatever. And then I'm going to show you an assignment where I created the questions on My Big Campus, like a true, false, multiple choice fill in the blank question, so that you can see what that process looks like as well. So these assignments that you see showing up right here are assignments that I need to grade. They are things that have been obviously completed and turned in by the students, again, through the Schoolwork tab. That's an important thing to understand. I think there's been some confusion about when you create an assignment on My Big Campus. Having a student just simply load a file up on their wall or what have you is not submitting an assignment. That's just simply a hosting site for the document or whatever it is. So that is not the same thing as what I'm showing you. So if you want a student to be able to take a Word document or PowerPoint presentation and load it onto My Big Campus so that you can grade it, you can certainly do that. Just have the student load the file up on their wall, then you can pull it and grade it and give them the feedback, manually. But by using the Schoolwork tab, this is a more uniform and official way of doing that. So I just want to make that distinction before we begin here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this Your Schoolwork tab. This will show all the assignments that I've submitted now. I don't actually want to use, unfortunately, either of these two assignments that are still open. So I'm going to use a couple of assignments that I gave out earlier in the year. So this end of unit assessment is a project that I gave my computer applications class, in which they had to create some type of like either cartoon or they had to write like a timeline. So they had some options here, but essentially they had to create a file. This is a schoolwork assignment where they had to create something and then upload that file, much like attaching a document in an email. So what I'm going to do is when you click on out of this Your Schoolwork tab and you have all these assignments here, whether they're all retroactive or they're current, you want to click on Assignees. And when you click on Assignees, it'll bring up this screen here. And what you can see, just real quickly so you understand, this is a majority of the students here in the 7th grade applications group, computer applications groups that got this assignment. The reason that you see these two young ladies that got the assignment individually is a couple of things can happen when you give schoolwork out to a student. Number one, sometimes they can, if it's in this case like a file upload deal where they had to create a file and turn it in, sometimes they can turn the wrong thing in. Like for example, this young lady right here submitted the actual assignment sheet. She didn't have very good file folder management in there, and so she submitted the actual assignment sheet that I gave them instead of the file that she created. Now the thing is, if you see here under this max attempts column, if you are going to set that at 1, which is the default, anytime they turn something in, it maxes out. They can't do anything else with it. So what I have to do is basically delete the file that they submitted to me and then reassign the file to them. So that's why these two individuals have this just to themselves. So we're going to go ahead and click on, and you can get to this either way. You can either click on this Show Submissions link over here, or what I oftentimes use over here is this Actions button, because also over here you can delete assignment, you can edit it. I'm going to click on Reports here, and what this is going to do is it's going to pull up a couple of different things that I'll show you a little bit more on later. But you can pick one of these. Now again, I've already graded all these, but I still want to show you the process of what it looks like to have to grade a file that comes through. So I'm just going to choose one here and show you what it looks like. So again, file submission, you'll see the file that they uploaded or attached here. Your points that you'll have set again when you created the assignment from the previous video. So this was out of 30 points. Okay. Now some of you guys are really big rubrics people. If you've created a rubric for a project, then you can certainly have that file open as you grade. So as you're grading the individual's work and you're filling your rubric out, once you get done with that rubric, you can attach it right here as a file. And again, this is like attaching a file for an email. You'd click on the Browse button, find the file that you rubric that you use for this individual student, and then attach it in here, and then hit Submit Grade. So they'll get all their feedback that way. I typically use the comments box here, and what you'll see is any comments that you insert will show up for the student over here when they view their grade. So this young man got 30 out of 30 on this, but if you obviously want to view it, you just click on the file, review it, grade it, however method you're using, and then put the grade in, put the comments in, or attach the rubric, whatever. The other option that you have here is that if the student has not done work up to your level of expectation, we can click on this grade and send back with an option to retake the assessment. So if it's incomplete or they didn't do a very good job, they just slop something down, you can assign a 0 or partial credit or however you want to do it, and then click on this box right here and tell them, you know, look, this is a poor effort, you need to redo this or whatever, get it back to me by the end of the day tomorrow. And then they'll get a notification of that. So that's basically the process of grading a schoolwork assignment where they've had to create something. This is also the method that you would use for maybe, like, let's say an essay. If you'd marked a question as an essay question and they typed the long response and essay question in here, you could grade it manually that way as well. So that's pretty much it. You'll click Submit Grade and it will go to them. And then actually that brings me back to this part right here that we were just on, where you saw all the different grades in. So after you have completed grading your entire group's work, which I have the whole 7th grade in one large group, so it usually takes me quite a while to get through everything. But like my 8th grade class, I only have 24 kids in there. So after I grade their 24 submissions, you'll get this screen right here to come up, and you'll be able to see overall what each student got, how many times it was submitted, when it was submitted. And so this is just kind of a dashboard for you if you want to kind of scroll through. Now, some have asked about, well, what if I want to see someone who's missing their work? In that case, you'll want to click on this tab right here that says Submission List. And what it does is it takes the file or the screen that you saw there and puts it more into like a text-oriented view. But you can kind of see here as you scroll through, shows you the status of the assignment. So some of these people were absent when we did this, and I just omitted it. It was a one-time deal. But as you scroll down here, this is what some of you guys have asked about: missing submissions. So students who are missing. Now, I don't have a lot of these kids, and I just haven't taken the time to delete them out of the group because I just built the entire 7th grade in at the beginning of the year before I knew who I'd have and wouldn't have. So anyway, that's where you can see missing work. That is under the submission list. Now, question stats, which is the 3rd tab here, this is actually more beneficial when you've created the assignment through My Big Campus, where you have like multiple choice, true, false, fill in the blank questions, because you can get some really good analytics on a per question basis. Since this was a file upload, a one-shot deal, all I can really see is the average overall score of a 25 out of 30, which is an 87% for the entire class or for the entire 7th grade group. So still offers you some feedback as to how students performed on the assignment, but you certainly get more feedback if you're grading a schoolwork assignment that you created, the questions through My Big Campus. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and show you next. So again, I'm going to go back to schoolwork again, since I'm using stuff that I've already graded through, and I'm just going to pull this one up right here. Same deal, click on it, go to assignees. Now on this one, this was more of like what I call like a guided notes type thing. It's all fill in the blanks and there's one multiple choice. And what we did was students opened up this this screen while I went through some technology-based websites on my overhead projector. So I was visiting things like Prezi and Creasa. I showed some stuff on Microsoft Word about how to edit documents. So they basically had to follow along and fill out these notes, which I used as fill in the blank questions on My Big Campus. So I'll go ahead and open this up here. Excuse me. Go ahead and open this up here again, and I'll just kind of show you guys this process of what this looks like. Once you see the assignment, you'll know. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind about this, and I'll just use the same person here. A couple of things to keep in mind about this is that when you create these questions on My Big Campus, whether they're multiple choice, true, false, or fill in the blank, it's always important to make sure that you attach an answer before you assign the work. I've had some issues where I created a test through My Big Campus, and I didn't set all the answers until after I assigned it to the students. And then I tried to retroactively change and put the answers in, and it did not go through and make the changes on the student side. So they were actually filling in all these questions and they were showing up as wrong, and the students were really freaking out about why it was showing up wrong. So a couple points here. Number one, always make sure that you tell the students that My Big Campus is not the final grade. I always make sure to tell them Power School. It's nice to be able to kind of get that instant feedback almost, but at the same time, I always tell them that they need to consult Power School. Also, too, on that test, not only did I have multiple choice, true, false, and fill in the blank, but I had some short answer questions as well. So it had a part of it that needed manual grading. So when they saw their score come up immediately after they took it, obviously that didn't factor in the short answer that I had to manually grade. So just some things to keep in mind there as you do this. But as you can see, what this looks like is you created this assignment. I did fill in the blanks mostly, 1 point each. You can see the bold word up here is what the right word is. That's the word that I assigned as the answer. Here's what the student submitted. Now, on this particular assignment, I did not count spelling off if they spelled the word wrong because I didn't have anything for them to see the word as I was going through this together with them. So I gave them the benefit of the doubt on this one. What that means is, though, that if they did spell a word wrong, and I don't know if there was one on here. Okay, like for example, right here, put in references instead of I put a reference. Again, I count that right. He was on the right track. He knew what to put in. He just accidentally put references in. So any type of misspellings, you'll have to manually correct, okay? So anyway, essay question, again, this can also be short answer. There's just no short answer category. So I just didn't feel like he gave a really complete sentence here, so I gave him some credit off on that. But multiple choice, again, it shows up with the highlighted answer in green. If you'd have chose the wrong one, it'd be in red, just like on fill in the blanks are in red. So you can go back and manually check these. That's the one bad thing. I have not found a way to submit multiple answers for fill in the blank, so I don't know if there's a way that you could maybe try to anticipate a student giving a secondary answer to what you think might be the right answer and making two answers count. Just manually check it. If they did something that you think they were on the right track and you want to give them credit for it, then you can do that. So again, same thing. It'll automatically grade for you. Insert the percentage. Again, if you want to type any comments here, you can certainly do that. Again, if you have a rubric or anything that you want to attach to this, to send them. And again, they will see any comments that you submit up there. So at that point, you would just go through once you get all of the students in your group graded. You'll get this screen to come up again as we've seen before, and again you can do the same thing. Now here, let me just show you, this is an example of the analytics that you get on a per question basis when you create the assignment through My Big Campus. So you can see, like for example, on this essay, the average score was a 4 out of 5. Okay, so I may want to use that as a discussion point to talk to my students and say, okay, you guys did really great following along, filling in the blanks, but on the short answer question, I don't think you gave a very good effort. We need to talk about giving complete sentences, complete thoughts on short answer questions, that they're not just simply one sentence answers and then move on. So here's what the multiple choice looks like. Again, you can see 94% of the students selected the right answer. 5 unanswered, 2 answered the wrong thing. So again, those are some of the feedback things that you can get using My Big Campus with grading homework. From the student end, obviously they get that instant feedback, which is great in a way, but you just got to, again, have to warn them that anything that needs manual grading, and sometimes that includes questions that you've created, and you have to go back and manually change those issues that we talked about. Just tell them to be patient, refer to My Big Campus as a guide, but the ultimate grade is what comes up on Power School. So if you have any other questions about the process of the student submitting work, or how you grade the work once it comes in, feel free to shoot me an email or stop on by.